What's up, everybody? What's going on? It is Mr. Arkhamverse, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about where does the Arkham family stand, or the Bat family stand after the events of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, it's been confirmed by WB Games that the Justice League that we see in the game, aka the Evil Justice League, are just clones. That's right, they're just clones. Before the game, there was people able to get into Metropolis before Suicide Squad, and one of those were being Tim Drake. I'll get into Tim Drake's fate / revival later in this video. Now, it has been confirmed by both Rocksteady and W Games that the Justice League we see in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League are just clones, and that the real Justice League tried to get into Metropolis after Tim Drake did and got kidnapped by Brainiac. He made clones by taking their DNA, and we can see this in a cutscene at the end of Season 8. Plus, did we ever really think that Brainiac was dumb enough to kill them? He would have needed them to study them. So yes, it is confirmed that they were clones, and he used their DNA to be able to make those clones. Okay, but now we know they're clones, so what else should we know? Well, Bruce Wayne, right? Let's talk about Batman. That's probably like the most famous one. Obviously, going based off what I said, him getting shot in the head wasn't the real Arkham Batman, and we can see at the end of Season 8, plus a Harley Quinn dialogue, and you can even do your research after me, that she knew all along that wasn't the real Arkham Batman, and that's why she had such a blank expression. Meaning, the Batman that we all saw die was not the real Batman, just a clone. So now the next big main question is, if that wasn't them, then where are they now? Well, it is confirmed that we know that the Justice League members, including everybody, were clones. The only person who was not a clone was Wonder Woman. That's right, guys, you hear me. Wonder Woman was not a clone because she was the only member who could have escaped. Now, with that, our question is, what happened to them during the events of the Suicide Squad game? Well, each member of the Injustice team were kept captive in Brainiac's ship. During this, we can also see at the end of episode 8 in the last season, I believe is season 4, we see that Harley Quinn talks about how the Justice League that they were fighting were just clones, and when they killed Brainiac, all the real Injustice members came off the ship. And right after that, it explains how they helped other worlds defeat Brainiac. We can assume the last mission that the Justice League did after this game was kill the Brainiacs in the other worlds. This kind of gives a better outcome on the game, and some people can call it lazy writing, but I think they kind of set up the same thing that they did with Eleven's death in Stranger Things, because it kind of, like, it's an open ending, right? One part is confirmed, but you can also make your own theories. But it could also just be a cash grab, and they're twisting the story. But based off the dialogue that was given before the game ended, I would assume that it is 100% true that everybody was just clones, and Harley Quinn was the only person who knew that. Given that, the only person that really died was Wonder Woman because she was the strongest to escape. But here's another fact. Flash's finger got cut off by a boomerang on one of the third encounters, and on the fourth encounter, all of his fingers are back, meaning Brainiac is just making clones of Flash by swapping his DNA. Okay, great, but where's Tim Drake, right? We see King Shark bend over it, and he can smell the scents that Tim Drake's Arkham Robin was already there. It's also confirmed by insiders that the first person to get into Metropolis before the Justice League even conquered Metropolis, attempting to defeat Brainiac, was Tim Drake. We're not exactly sure, but we do know that the Bat family might not be on speaking terms because Tim Drake went alone, and you would think Nightwing would go, but no, it was just Tim Drake. But it has been confirmed by many popular game insiders that Tim Drake was supposed to return in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League after the story mode to help them conquer the Brainiacs of the other worlds, even though we see Deathstroke already do that. Meaning the people who said nobody, no death were actually right all along, because like I said, it is confirmed that Tim Drake was supposed to be returning as Arkham Robin to help, meaning he is not dead. But that also leaves the question, well, if he's not dead, then why the blood on the ground? Well, I would likely think that Brainiac sent the Batman clone to get into Tim Drake's mind, and then probably got beat up, because as you can see, when Batman was beating up the Flash, in the first Batman scene, Brainiac says, "Don't kill him." So we can only imagine that that was the real Flash. And then when he got kidnapped, he said don't kill him so that Brainiac could take his DNA, which means it could be the same for Robin, right? He probably only took him for his DNA to maybe make a clone of Robin or to get into Bruce Wayne's head. Okay, so we just knocked down two of the strongest points, right? What happened to Batman? What was his last mission? Did he really die? And what happened to Tim Drake? Now, an over one of those two answers is that Tim Drake probably just got used for his DNA and escaped the ship when Brainiac died, and it's the same exact story for Batman. So after the events of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, it's probable to think that Tim Drake returned back to Gotham, and Batman either went under the shadows because it's the Arkham Batman. We know he wouldn't go and host revival of the city conference. I believe that he either went rogue and he went silent, meaning he cut off communication to the world, or he returned with the Justice League to continue, their missions in saving the world. But it is more likable that Batman went dark and didn't talk to anybody after the events of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And like I said, we can imagine that Tim Drake returned back to Gotham. So where was Nightwing, where was Oracle, and where was Jason in all of this? Now first, when Batman says, and if you can find him, Jason. Now, I believe when he said that, that means him and Jason aren't on speaking terms. Not meaning that they're beefing, but more necessarily that Jason is going dark. Meaning when he, completed his mission with Batman, Scarecrow, and Black Mask, he probably didn't feel the need to do anything, especially because Joker already died. So he's probably just went dark, and nobody's probably heard of Jason since the events of Arkham Knight. We also know that Nightwing is still in Bloodhaven or Gotham. It's not confirmed that he's in Gotham. Some people believe he's in Gotham. I personally believe he's in Bloodhaven, but it would make sense most for him to be in Bloodhaven, because when Bruce was gonna fake kill himself, he told Nightwing multiple times that Bloodhaven needs him, and when he asked Batman to help out with Penguin, he was saying all this connects to Bloodhaven and I need to protect Bloodhaven, meaning during the deadly events of Suicide Squad, it would just make more sense for him to be patrolling Bloodhaven, keeping everybody safe while, Brainiac was being a dummyac. Ooh, that was so tough. So what happened to Oracle, right? Well, we get this dialogue after we kidnap Batman, and it says how Batman has boarded the ship with Oracle and how he's brainwashed her mind. We know that Brainiac gave his certain clones powers. So with that given dialogue, it is probable to think, obviously based off the dialogue in the literal game, that Oracle was kidnapped by Brainiac. And he used Batman to do it, just like how he used Batman to do it to Tim Drake. So after the events of Suicide Squad, we know that Batman probably went dark, not talking to anybody. We also know that Jason has nowhere to be seen, so probably did the same thing that Batman did after the events of Arkham Knight and Suicide Squad. We know that Robin returned back to Gotham, and Nightwing was all along patrolling in Bloodhaven, and that Oracle was kidnapped middle in the game. I wouldn't say it was in the beginning, but it also wasn't at the end. It was while everything was kicking off. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please considering like and subscribing. It would make my day. I don't get much views, and I work so hard on my video, and I'm not trying to do a sob story, lol. But yeah, I just wish. But yeah, you guys have a good day. Stay geeks and peace.